old gods out of the picture, the new gods did their best to help the survivors of the apocalypse by putting the elemental planes back together as best as they could before repopulating the new world with various species. But as the gods did their work, the displaced fiends were being rallied under the banners of several fiendish lords who felt betrayed by the destruction of Keltharn, and promised both revenge against the gods and a new homeland for their people. Soon after, the fiends launched an all-out attack on the New World, starting the war that would one day be known as the Age of the Demons. With their former allies turned against them, the young dark gods had no choice but to join forces with the good and neutral gods. As one, the mortal races and the celestials joined forces with all the gods to drive back the vengeful fiendish hordes, seeking to wrestle control of the New World from them in a battle that would last for thousands of years. But when it seemed as though the battle would never end, a mysterious stranger calling himself the Traveler appeared on the scene. With innovative ideas and amazing negotiating skills, the Traveler helped many of the fiends reconcile with the dark gods. The Traveler also introduced the idea of mortal realm proxies to all the gods, which would be known as the Hands of the Gods, to assist in the running of the New World. Finally, the Traveler created a new race of shape-changing people called the Changelings. With the newly divinely empowered hands acting as generals, the tide of battle quickly turned to the side of the gods, and all would have been well but for one incident. During a battle, Dalamar, a former rebellious fiendish lord himself and newly titled Hand of the Devourer, accidentally slew one of the first human children. This angered the goddess Arawai, soon leading to a schism between the gods that led to the formation of the Sovereign Host. Blamed for contributing to Talitha's death, the Traveler found himself joining forces with the Dark Gods and helping to form the Dark Six. The Shadow, the Dark God of Magic, found the entire situation highly amusing, however, and stole away the soul of the slain child, turning Talitha into the first Volnu fiend and making her his hand. When the dust finally settled in, most fiendish lords finally agreed to once more bend the knee to the will of the dark gods. Other fiendish lords, though, were too rebellious and too powerful, and were thus forever imprisoned in what would become the demon wastes. Many of those that surrendered, though, found a new home in the deepest, darkest subterranean caverns they could find beneath the world. They dubbed their new home Kyber, naming it after the first dark god who had helped create the darker aspects of the universe. Others, though, followed Dal Dorn and the mockery to an empty corner of the multiverse and helped create Shavarath, the plane of battle, where they could continue the epic battles that they had fought during the war for all eternity. Still, other fiends decided to take more drastic measures. One fiendish lord moved his followers to the plane of shadow, where they radically altered themselves and became the Chitons, also known as the dreaded Shapers. Still, another fiendish lord known as Kor Tarai moved his army to the plane of dreams and renamed it Dal Kor. He then took on the title of Lord of Nightmares, his minions becoming the dreaded Korai. Other fiends quietly slipped away, blending in with the mortal society for a time before forming an organization called the Lords of Dust and altering themselves to become the mysterious and secretive Rakshasa. But it wasn't only the fiends who had grown discontent over time. There were also celestials led by an archon named Inarius, after the war had grown weary of the constant struggle between good and evil. To their surprise, the group also found a legion of fiends led by a succubus named Lilim, who felt the same way, and together the two former enemies forged a new alliance. Soon, Inarius and Lilim used their combined power to create an entire new plane they called Thelanis, for their people to live upon. Over time, the former fiends and celestials changed and became altered by the mysterious forces of their new home, becoming all the races of Fae that are known today. On the mortal plane, as peace and prosperity finally began to reassert itself, the denizens of the new world named their home Eberron, after the dragon god who had sacrificed himself to create it. Looking up at the great ring that encircled the world, they named it Sybaris, after the dragon whose celestial remains it was formed from.